Hello, and welcome to the Handy Capable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human. And, well, let's just start, because, I'm thinking I'll do one at the beginning and the other one at the end. I'm still figuring out this whole. But, welcome if you're new. Hello. Again, handy capable black woman. I talk about current events, dating nightmares, history, current events, um, let's see, IQs, interesting, questionable things people do, my reality, a lot of my reality, because especially since I'm of a certain age. And if you listen to my podcast, I'll probably try to put a link for the podcast in the episode. You will see I have witnessed and seen and gone through a lot of things that society tries to hide, especially the Republicans. Yeah, oh yeah, if you're a Republican, you're not gonna like this channel. So I won't be upset if you leave. But anyway, yeah, because I'm quote like I'm the Erica Badu definition of woke. I'm the original definition of or the let's see, I am the original Urban Dictionary definition of woke. So, yeah, you won't like me. I know this. But, yeah, I try to cover a lot of things that I have been through in life to try to help the next generations. And especially when it comes to dating, I have retired from the whole dating game. And have I fully retired? I guess not. And it's funny, like once I retire, that's when I keep getting different men messaging me, or even, like I mentioned in last episode, men from my past messaging me. And, like, okay, so when it comes to the dating profiles, because this was part one or last episode, I was talking about putting what you want, putting your standards, knowing who you are. Don't change because a last episode I mentioned, and yes, I keep saying last episode, sorry. I'll just say previous and everything, but I gave an example of that one gentleman who refused to tell me his political thoughts until after the third date because he said by then we would have had a very passionate, like, um, type of kiss and everything. And by that time, I would not care what his political views are. And he was going to take me to the one of the most fanciest restaurants in the area. And to me, I'm just like, I'm I'm grown and mature. I'm not one of those like no. It's like when I go on a date, it's like some men are like, oh, like they. I will find the messages too, not on this episode, but in later episodes where men are like, oh, you treat dating like an interview. I sure do. I sure do. Like, it's, yes, I don't have time to waste. And I am not going to date a Republican or someone who loves the orange guy. I'm not. And a lot of men put me down, and one even called me a bigot, which, oh yeah, if you make sure you check out my community. I think I already posted that one in the community on YouTube and stuff. But I know what my standards are, and I know the type of person that I would love to be with for the rest of my life. And I would want to be on the same, at least, arena politically, because I was like, if a man says he doesn't care about, like, oh, if he's pro life, but then you find out he doesn't care about your life, he cares about what, like, what's in your body life, even though, like, you might not live through it, even though you might be having, like, health issues from it, or it might not be viable, is like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the, yeah, because I'm a Christian, but who, like some Christians, like, oh, let me lay hands on you, let me put anointed oil on you, or we'll just heal you, you'll be okay, get through it, suck it up. Nothing. Okay, okay. So yeah, I go by standards. It is an interview for me. And I just saw on Reddit, which I took a screenshot, so it'll be an episode coming up soon, where someone was asking about, or actually, no, there's two or three that talk about standards. And one young lady was just like, should I lower my standards to make sure that I'm able to marry at an early age? And part of me just feels like, okay, if you lower your standards, you have to make sure you understand if there's a time where you get tired of that person, irritated with that person, you might be stuck with that person for the rest of your life if you don't want, if you have kids and then you feel bad because you don't want to separate, or you don't want the kids seeing being in a two different households and things like that. Or then if the parents divorce, then they have new people coming in and like kind of making it a messy situation. And so it's like, if you lower your standards, you're lowering your possibility of happiness. And yeah, people are gonna be like, "Well, look at you." Yes, that's why I'm telling you the advice from somebody, because since I had an undiagnosed disability, it's like some men were like, "Oh, you're great, you're perfect, but walk right. Learn how to walk. Why do you walk so stupidly?" And so I was at the point where I was just trying to prove my parent, well, yeah, let's just say one of my parents were like, I wanted to be right after being told, as long as you walk like that, no one's ever gonna want you, love you, or marry you. I lowered my standards just to be able to have a man. I lowered them. And now look, like, I had a 5-year relationship that was a hot mess. Started off on a hot mess, ended in a hot mess, to the point where he bumped into his middle school or high school sweetheart. And then, like, because he was begging to get back with me, but then I found out he was looking for her and I at the same time. He owed me money, refused to pay me money, and he said that he will only pay me back my money if I get back with him, and I would have to sleep with him a certain amount of times in order to get my money. But then during that 2 week period, he not only found his high school sweetheart or whatever, but then he proposed, and then, oh, it was like all kinds of, like, I don't, because part of me is wondering, did he find her and still looking for me, because I think she was already pregnant. It's like I said, it's a whole, like, if you listen to the podcast, I say like all of the parts I know for a fact, but like near that, like the ending part, I'm still wondering, like, how how was he able to find both of us literally around the same time? Like, it just, to me, I think he was just, I don't know. I really, I'm, maybe I'll do an episode where then I create like a timeline, because it's still, I'm still kind of baffled by it. And but at the same time, I learned that I lowered my standards because I was not going to date him. It's like when I found out at the taco party all of the lies that he told me, and but then I went to the restroom and then he stole my ID and my social security card out of my purse to make sure that I had to go back to his house, and that's when he did the threat and everything like that. So that's how we started dating. And then I dated out of fear that he was going to do what he said he was going to do if I didn't date him. And so, yeah, that was 5 years wasted of my life. But during that time, I did learn about myself, and I finished my second master's and everything. And then I started dating Mr. No Heart. 7 years of a disaster. Um, I learned a lot about the role of a step parent and the horrors that step parents have to go through, and how some parents don't realize the exclusion or the, like, just, yeah, let's just say I've learned a lot because I will never let a man devalue me to the point where he tells me that I have to love his children, but they don't have to like me. You don't have a right to tell me who I have to love. Will I be nice to them, kind to them, respect them? If they need a ride, or as long as we're together, if they need a ride or if they need something, okay. But you don't have a right to tell me who I have to love. Just because both of your parents divorced 2 or 3 times each does not mean that I have to, like, kind of be a substitute for all the pain and suffering you went through as being the child of a divorced household. So, but he did. And I was always the last one to be helped. But when he needed help, I was always the one he called first. And if you watched the previous episode, you saw that screenshot from his mother. Yeah, that screenshot was from his mother. And this is the same woman who told me that, yeah, the only reason I got into college was because I'm black, but at the same time, yeah, majority of yeah, they didn't finish. Yeah, it's like they ended up going back to getting a certification or like possible, like maybe a trade or something like that. But yeah, but my ex, no, none of that. He dropped out of college, didn't go back to, for anything else or whatever. He blamed the professors, saying the professors didn't know how to teach. They didn't know what they were doing. They were too picky grading, and they would mark off points for, like, because his wasn't like perfect with the shavings or something like that. Like, but yeah, part of me was just like, okay, so your family has the nerve to tell me that the only reason I, like, because even when I got a couple of my job positions, only because I'm black, only because I'm a female and black, the only reason I got into college, because the only reason that is, like, there was one other thing that I got and I was so excited for. But yeah, so, and it, like, sometimes I just wonder, it's like, so when a white person gets something, they're applauded because, like, oh, you work so hard. But then if it's a person of color, especially black, it's because they're black. They didn't deserve it. They don't work hard. Like, that's basically what America tells me. Black people don't work hard. Black people don't, they're not worth it. They're not, like, diligent. They're not, like, of quality. And that just makes me think back on the 3/5 of a person back there, like, the Jim Crow laws and stuff like that. So it's like we're never going to be good enough. It's like, even with some of the companies who, when they have a big mess up, who do they want to blame? People of color, especially black women. But okay, yeah, it's like, but when it comes to standards, when it comes to dating, I do think of it as an interview. And when it comes to standards, a lot of men don't like me. They say my standards are too high. Not going to prison and not having a criminal record is too high of a standard. Oh, okay, America, America. And it's like, like, I've been, like, trying to find different ways to fight for the minimum wage to, because yes, I'm just a handicapable black woman, but I write letters and I try to, like, I'm trying to do what I can. And it's like, like, especially with the unionizations, I love it. Like with Starbucks and, like, different Amazon locations and everything. I forgot his name. I will find it, but I would love to see if I can interview that one gentleman that was starting to unionize Amazon. And oh, they were trying to stop him. They were putting him down like nobody's business. But that's kind of what, like, he is. Like, I'll find his name, I'll find the story and everything like that. But anyway, it's just, yeah, I get so much. I just had a guy who wrote me, and he was like, "Well, I'm still in prison right now, but I would love to get to know you." Okay, but then yeah, he said he read my profile. Yeah, he said he read my profile, and that he's still in prison, but then he wants to get to know me. And he was like, "Don't worry, I know it's just a talk." So I'm like, "Okay, at least you know it's just a talk." But why? Like, there's so many women out here. Talk to them. And it's like, yeah, we can talk, we can be friends, but part of me is just like, what would be the purpose? I need to know your purpose. Are you looking for friends for when you get out? Because you can't come over. No, nah. With the history of like Mr. Lakaki, yeah, he told me that, like, to my face, he was gonna wear a big jacket with some pockets, so when he came to meet my parents, he would be able to put some stuff in his like, yeah. Said this to and dated guys where they were like, yeah, I got out of prison, I've learned a lot, dot dot dot. While we're dating though, then all of a sudden they want to tell me the truth that they're still doing some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, thank you, leave me alone, back away, whatever. Um, and like, even adopting and fostering, men are like, oh, you just want to do that for a check. Oh, it's like there's no reason to do that. Why do you want to do that? Like, okay, especially the Republican men. I'm like, okay, Republican men, what does it say? Like in the Bible, aren't we supposed to be helping the, like, either the hungry, the needy? It's like a lot of these kids need a home. And aren't you pro life? These are lives. These are lives that don't have a stable household. One third of kids in the foster and adoption like homes end up addicted to special candy because, oh, I call special candy, well, you'll know. Um and if you don't know, ask your mama, your grandma, somebody. But it's just crazy that, like, even like men who have criminal records, they have attitude with me, but I have, and actually, yeah, I'm gonna try to do that episode. Probably, oh, February would be, because African American month and Valentine's month. I can do like different things for African American history and stuff, but also why I don't date certain groups, especially like because I just started like 2022 November, did I put that in my standards. Before that, I didn't. I've dated several men who had criminal records. I've given several men like chances, but for the most part, that was because I wanted to prove my mother wrong. I wanted to show her that someone could want me, love me, and one day marry me at any needs. Like, I didn't care. As long as it was somebody, I didn't care. But after everything I've been through, and then after doctors feeling really dumb because of the mistreatment, and also after the surgery, and then during the surgery, the person who I was with for 7 years, the same man who didn't go to what my parents' funeral, same one who, when his lights were out because he forgot to pay the bill, I'm the one who fed his family when he couldn't afford, because like way at the beginning when he was divorcing his wife and we were just friends, he couldn't afford to like pay rent, feed his kids and everything like that. It was right around his birthday. So who went to a grocery store, got a grocery cart, filled that grocery cart with a little over $200 worth of groceries as his birthday present to make sure he could feed his daughters. But then who in return didn't go, like when I had my surgery, didn't go, didn't visit me, didn't call me, didn't check up on me afterwards, who didn't visit me, call me, or like hardly, like nothing. And it's like, but then who went to his oldest daughter's band's concerts, helped her practice her theater lines. And it's like, and then also with growing up as a woman, had those talks. Like the day of, the woman thing or whatever, I got a call. It was a Saturday. I remember I was running around the house trying to clean up because I was working 2 or 3 jobs. But it's like he was so ungrateful because I was trying to save up money to get a house, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with my body because doctors were still telling me I just wanted attention. I was lying and I just wanted to be addicted on something. I'm like, have you ever, like, what kind of medications have I been on? Not like throughout my life, other than when I've been sick, like antibiotics and stuff. What are you talking about? So that's why, like, there's a lot of doctors right now who feel really dumb. They feel really, because there's one doctor, one neurologist. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's another story. But it's like I helped this gentleman. So like, well, when his vehicle got repossessed, so he was like, his roommate refused to lend him money. His family members, he didn't want them to know because he was embarrassed. So who lent him money so that he can go and get it so that he can go to work and he could pick up his daughters and he could be a father. Yeah. And then there's like so many other things that, and that's one reason why I'm lifting my standards, because if I'm going to be willing to do all of that, I need to be happy. And you deserve to be happy. So know what your standards are. Know who's going to make you happy. Know who's going to make you feel special. Because if you don't feel special, this is your life. Live your life. Don't make life drag over you. No. No, there's no. And that's why I'm willing to be single for the rest of my life. And a lot of the men on the apps, the dating apps, they're going to be laughing and happy because I'm going to be single. But they don't realize I'm going to be happy because I'm not with them. And yes, it's going to make having kids harder because it's like adopting, fostering. Some companies, they want like a couple, and since I have a disability, like, yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to. That's one reason I'm like working hard, saving the money, physical therapy, and finding different gadgets and different things to make sure I'm able to do anything and everything I need to in order to be responsible, like loving, giving parent. I will do all of that, but do not lower your standards. Don't. That's not fair for you. Make sure you know who you are. Make sure you know who you are now, because when you get married, don't let that person change you. Because my exes tried to change me, they tried to devalue me, they tried to make sure that since I had the low self esteem, because all everybody was telling me me walking the way I did was my fault, and I'm like, okay, you know what? It is technically my fault because I was born. I was born like this. I didn't choose it, but I was born. It's like I wouldn't exist. So, and that's another thing. Like some men that have been incarcerated, been in prison, they tell me that I have to date. I have to be willing to date a man that's been in prison because since I have a disability, that should be. And I'm like, no, there's a difference. You chose your actions. You chose to do what you do to end up where you are or where you were. I was born. I was born. I was created like this. This was something out of my power, out of my control. So for you to tell me that I have to lower my standards for something I could not choose because of mistakes you decided to do, no, thank you. You're going to devalue me and tell me what I have to do? No. And then, yes, there's men who they say I'm wonderful, amazing, beautiful, and it's like even you see that or in those, okay, well, I can put that screenshot on this episode too from my ex's mom, but it was like her like, oh, she did not like that I was black. She tried to change me all the time. Every time I visited, oh, look, listen to this. And she tried to play African American country music so many times. And I'm like, I don't care who plays the music. It's not like, well, some black people just don't like it. You can't tell, like, you're trying to, like, it kind of felt like brainwashing. Because whenever I came to visit, all of a sudden it was just like everything Republican, everything like stereotypical white. She was trying to instill in me. And and that's the funny thing. Black men say I'm too white, but then white people say I'm not white enough, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, whatever. So that's why I'm just gonna be me. I am gonna just stick to being me. Nobody else is gonna change me. If people don't like me, I don't like. I had so many so-called friends who, when I would talk about the pain or talk about how no one's believing me with how I walk and I can't control it behind my back. Oh, she just making up stuff. She just wants attention. She just blah blah. And like even with grad school, oh, I hope she drops out. I hope she doesn't finish. But now it's like some of the people on Facebook. Oh, girl, when are you gonna post some pictures? When are you gonna tell us what you've been doing all your life? Oh, so you did finish that second master's? Oh, you need to take a picture with it. Yeah, take a picture so we can see you with it. Oh, I want to know what you look like, and I want to see the diploma too. But I want to see what you look. No, I know who. And I forgot which episode that I mentioned this one young lady, but it's the same coworker that told me for a light skinned girl I wasn't pretty enough or I was fat or whatever. Yeah. She's the one who now keeps asking me to post pictures. So I mean it's been a couple years now, but there was like a 3 or 4 month time where but and this is one reason why it's like with dating, it is like an interview. It should be like an interview because if you go based off of looks and then like during the fifth, sixth date or month 5, 6, 7, you start realizing that if you're a book reader and they hate books, if you like heavy metal and they can't stand the sound of it, if your political beliefs differ greatly from them, and it's like if they're very religious and you're not, there's so many things where you need to get to know the person firsthand and make sure they're not wasting your time. Because once you start liking somebody, you might start like forgiving, or you might stop, like, you might excuse it, or you might say, well, I can get used to that. I can get over that. I can get by with that. I can deal with that. Just like I said last episode, Tina Turner sung it best. What love got to do with it? It's like, no, you have to remember your happiness. You have to remember your goals. You have to remember what's going to make you happy. Because if you're not going to be happy, what's the point? Yeah, they may look good, but if they're going to drive you crazy 5, 10, 15 years from now, looks fade. So what's going to happen when they start looking like Shrek? I'm going to say that again. What's going to happen when they start looking like Shrek? But then you can't stand their personality. So now you've got someone you can't stand when they enter a room and they open their mouth and they look closer to Shrek. So now they don't have looks or personality or things in common. What it was the point of the relationship? What was the point of the relationship? So that's why I can deal with being single. I'm going to talk more about this. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, especially there's some Reddit topics I want to cover that's based off of some of the stuff I've covered on this episode and last episode. But just know that I am the handy capable black woman.